Welcome in, Irish fans, to the Lucky Lefty podcast. This is the wrap up show. Notre Dame goes down to number 7, Cincinnati, 24-13 at home. It's a lot to talk about. We'll get right to it. Man, we look forward to your questions, your comments, anything you have to say. But a lot of things Brian Kelly had to say is two things in particular that we'll play for you that interest us. But I'm going to turn it over. Malik, you had your 3 keys to a dub, and how did those turn out?
Man, the one that sticks out the most is can we stand the rain? And that first half onslaught, we just couldn't stand the rain because after a while, when you don't have a solid base and you're relying on defense's turnover to come out each and every play and make a stop, when you're playing teams that are good and especially confident, I mean, even the touchdown they scored on Kyle to go up 17, that's just a confidence play. They just like, look, we feel like we got the edge. We're just going to – they had the jump ball too down the field on 2 players on just any other day. That's a bad football play. But when you play in a team that feels like they can beat you, they're going to play on top of the pressure that they're applying, playing Notre Dame. We didn't look like the most confident team that was going to win coming out. And there was so many narratives that the narratives just played more of a factor into how Cincinnati was able to just come in and not, like Desmond Ryder said, nothing affected him. I mean, he out there and managed and played well. And I mean, I thought the defense had good effort, but offensively, I mean, I could go all day on just what we talk about from the beginning of the season, where it's like Coach Kelly is not good with the quarterbacks. Situationally terrible. He just botches the whole thing completely when we don't have to. I told you before, we done opened the Pandora's box.
Yep.
We done put too many guys in there. And they done played right when they're not expecting to win. I mean, we got fans out here clamoring for Drew Pine to play. That's not how we went into the season thinking. We wasn't thinking nothing about no Drew Pine save us going into the 2021 season. So cut it out. My biggest issue is that we saw it coming and we didn't do anything to stop it once again. Why would you bring Jack Cohen in to do this? You bringing in a guy who wasn't a superstar where he left to put him in an even worse situation now with 3 guys. It's not making sense. It's not making sense because it's like, what is Drew Pine going to solve for an offense that has no identity? All the stars we have out there, and we clamoring for Drew Pine to make the plays. That's not it. I told you also, giving Tyler Buckner packages wears out after the first use. It's a firework for a reason. It's only one use in it. We are too late in the season almost to be non-committal. We're the most non-committal girl out on the dating scene.
Wow.
For whatever reason, we just feel like, I like one, but I kind of want 2 more. The biggest gigolo in the pool. And it's not making sense because it's like, you tease us with Tyler Buckner. For what? Jack looked good first game. Why are you trying to tease us? For what? If you wasn't going to start him, why are you trying to give him packages that's going to limit him? And what happened? We try to bring those tired packages out that they didn't develop because he's been hurt for 2 weeks with a hamstring. You thinking, if we're the number 9 team in the country, why are we looking for so many fire starters to our offense? That's crazy. Why are we looking for people to get the offense going with the number 9 team in the country? So that just shows you that you knowingly went into the season undermanned for no reason, just to package up and underdevelop a quarterback that's confidence is all over the place. At this point, he realized that it ain't that easy when teams are expecting him. Drew Pine learned it ain't that easy when you just can't come in out of the stands and look like Rudy. When teams know what you're doing and got enough film to be like, all right, let's just in case, let's prepare for this guy. Once they say that, all the quarterback packages just stop right there. It's no more surprise. There's no more kick starting. If we need all that, just start them and game plan the whole week. You're destroying Jack's confidence. You're destroying Jack's game by doing this to him. He thought Tyler Buckner was enough. Now you're talking about Drew Pine. He gonna be like, next you're gonna start talking about what's the kid?
Powell's son.
Powell's son. Because all three of them gonna play like shit in the next couple of weeks. All three of them. All three of them gonna play like shit. The O-line, impossible. We can't blame the O-line. How?
O-line played good enough to win this game.
But how could you
even as bad as they played in certain situations, they played good enough to win this game.
How can you even consider them to be an issue or for them to develop when they got literally three different voices in their head? You got three different cadences in their head.
Yeah.
In the span of one game. And they already don't got the experience. We do this, I feel like at this point, for the entertainment value of a season. It's too easy to win 10 games. So Coach Kelly's like, you know what? Let's just make it as entertaining as possible. You cannot treat offense like it's some just throw guys in. It's impossible. If you just think of it from a big picture, to get 11 guys, which includes yourself, to do the right thing for 3 seconds, all at the same time, and do that 70 times a game, and one guy is directing all the traffic, it is impossible. That Coach Kelly's even gone from 2 and now he's working 3 QB carousel. I ain't never seen nothing like it. I thought it was bad enough. It was me versus Ev, me versus Shaun, me versus, now you got 3 people in the mix. You got the fans giving bad suggestions on Twitter. You've empowered so many fans to be a coach that don't know what they're talking about. And lastly, I just want to know, how many times does it take for you to do this when you just have to recruit the number one guy and call it a day? These backup quarterbacks we're recruiting are obviously not going to get the job done at this where the game is today. None of them quarterbacks, even if one started the whole season, can score touchdowns on Georgia. I don't see us scoring no touchdowns on Georgia with those quarterbacks. How? So it's like, why are we doing all this shuffling around if we have the potential to get to where we want to go and know we don't have enough to beat these guys with who we got in the game? I can't believe I saw people vying for guys that we wasn't talking about in the beginning of the season. Like, it made sense. Like, no, I told you in the last weeks, if you think that Drew Pine is a solution or even a fire starter to our offense, and that's the 3rd quarterback on the roster, then we're a desperate offense. We're a desperate offense because it doesn't make sense that we won't commit to anybody with how precious of a transition we're trying to make as a team, as a group. It's like we're going in circles for no reason.
You look pretty down, bro. I'm going to be honest. I told you the floor was yours because I know you had a lot to get off your chest. You told me you were upset after watching this game.
It's just why? Like I just, and God bless Tommy's heart because Tommy's up there like, man, I gotta call plays for 3 different quarterbacks. And during the week, Jack probably played the whole time. Because
Oh yeah,
Tyler,
I'll get the Tommy Reeves, but go ahead.
Tyler couldn't have practiced that much because he only got so many plays.
He's
So
been hurt.
and he's been hurt. So you gotta think through the course of the week for how much he played in the game. There's no way he practiced that much during the week. So Jack took majority of the reps.
What Tarico said during the broadcast, him and Bree said they watched practice, and they were rotating all 3 quarterbacks in. And when he said that, I was like, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like you want to lose every game. How is that even possible? This is not no army where you just throwing people in there and yes, sir, no, sir, let's just execute the job. No, this is the quarterback position, the most sought after, hardest position in sports. And you treating it like Russian roulette. And it's even more sickening that we're the number something team in the country every year, and we can't get a Matt Corral. We can't get a Trevor Lawrence. We can't get even Jake Fromm from State Farm. We can't even get it.
You know the answer to that, though, right? Because now you're going to start me on my rant. You're going to start me on my rant. We already know the answer.
That's the $1 million question and answer.
No, it's not. No. It is it. Today was the day for me. Today was the day for me.
It's the day.
It. I don't need to see anything else.
I don't you know what you're going to get for the rest of the
season. I promise you, as a Notre Dame fan, this is not me jumping off the ledge. This is me being honest with a large sample size of what we've seen in this era. Large sample size.
It's large.
Man, name me one quarterback, one elite quarterback that's been recruited and developed. That's elite. Don't bring me Ian Book. I don't want to talk about he won the most games. Ian Book wasn't
fits in the whole I want to be a Rudy guy.
Yes.
He wasn't a highly recruited guy.
It's a reason he keeps recruiting those type of guys, which goes back to when we got the commit of Steve, the kid from Jersey.
Yeah,
dude, we already had these guys in the quarterback room.
We got 4 of them. We got one with the mullet, number 7. Remember the one with the mullet?
Yes. Brendan
Clark, who I thought he was a backup with Phil. I mean, what happened to him? He's still there.
Strong arm. Brendan Clark got strong. He's injured though.
Okay.
He's been injured. Had a lot of injuries. Phil got hurt. He's out for the year with the broken hand. But that's your quarterback.
Phil had a chance.
That's your quarterback. But you know what? They didn't want to develop an offense around Phil and his talents. Phil had to fit into their offense.
Facts.
That's why they keep recruiting the same quarterbacks. Because they're the only quarterbacks that can fit into that non-creative offense.
Yeah. We want to be the Ravens of 2000s. Rely strictly on defense, play the game close, and try to look like a historic team always in these shootouts or these games that we should be blowing teams out. We make everything close.
Man, let me play this clip for the people. Brian Kelly, after the game, this is the clip. I was already upset about how the game went. But he had the nerve to say this in the press conference, and I about lost it. Brian Kelly.
The thoughts that I had with our team were about, play a good opponent. You have to match, your play with, a high level of competency in terms of, the mundane things. We didn't take care of the basics today. And all we needed to do is be efficient at the basics today, and we weren't efficient at the basics. We turned the football over on offense, special teams, didn't cover very well, and so we didn't coach very well today, and we didn't play very well.
You haven't coached since you got here. You haven't coached the quarterback position well since you got here. The guy you got rid of, which was the offensive line guru, and now you have a guy that every recruit is his. He recruited them. Not only are they bad talent-wise and can't move their feet, he can't coach them. But you didn't want Harry Heastan. You didn't want him.
That's the key to the whole era.
You didn't want him.
That's the key right there.
It's your program. It has to be your way. We heard after 2016 and the debacle that you changed. You were more accessible to your players. You were more open to things. You bring in Marcus Freeman. Why? Because you lose a really good defensive coordinator and you go out and get the hottest thing on the block. Right? And you leave the defense to him. Fix our defense. Make it a national championship caliber defense. Well, guess what? The scheme is great. The players just aren't elite.
It's just not elite.
The players just aren't elite. We have talked ad nauseum about J.D. Bertrand.
Yeah.
And thrown love, rose petals at his feet.
All of that, yeah.
All of that.
He's just not elite. Man.
He's not elite.
He's just not elite.
He's not elite.
Kyle's elite. That's
kudos to Cam Hart. Every week, Cam Hart keeps showing that he has the potential to be an elite cornerback.
Every time. Because they try him every game. They try him every game.
But let me tell you something. Clarence Lewis ain't it. Clarence Lewis ain't it.
That's why we don't talk about
no.
it. That's why we don't talk about it.
You can't have the third fastest wide receiver, the 50-50 ball guy, just running by you on fly patterns. It can't happen.
Basic stuff.
First and 15, that can't happen. Can't happen. So this is my issue. My issue is he said it right there. You have to have competency when you play against good teams. Starts with the coach. Starts with the coach. You know what's incompetent? After Jack Cohn moves you down to the red zone, you know what's incompetent? Not using your running quarterback in the red zone.
If you're going to do all the switching and shit.
After Jack Cohn then comes back the second drive after throwing we threw the interception in the red zone.
Yeah.
He comes back, he moves the ball a little bit, has the guy wide open, throws it behind him on 3rd and 7. What do? You go to Tyler Buckner and just totally disrupt the flow of the game. Incompetent.
Yeah.
Incompetent coaching. You want to talk about the competency of your players.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the incompetency of the coach and the offensive coordinator. We said this, and I related it to the Avengers. We said every football game has a natural flow.
Everyone.
This was a defensive struggle. That's what it was going to be.
Yeah, we knew.
And the game was waiting for the first coach to make the first blunder. And Brian Kelly decided to throw his hat in the ring.
Yeah.
I'll go first. Here's Tyler Buckner for 2 series. Not in the middle of a series or the red zone as a changeup or a different look. Not because Jack Cohn,
no man's land.
Not because Jack Cohn was performing badly at that point.
He didn't even play long enough yet.
But you and your ego. You're in your ego. You just wanted Tyler Buckner to play.
Because he opened the Pandora box early against a team that we was already going to beat. And he just can't see it as one man running it and it's not him. If he could play quarterback, he would sub himself in. Because he's just not going to be satisfied if Jack go out there and Joe Burrow us all the way there. He won't let it happen.
Hey, some of our fans have some comments. We'll get to it in a second, but just stand right with this, man. He was asked in the post-game press conference, Brian Kelly, why so much love for Tyler Buckner? Why?
Well, escapability, certainly. He sees the field very well, and he just has he just has confidence, that a bit of a swagger to him. And there's no stat for that, right? It's just a sense and a feel. So, look, he didn't start, right? So it didn't impress me that much, or he would have been the starter. So, we're trying to figure it out, and we've got a guy that we really like in Jack in terms of what he did. He looked really good at times. It's hard to put much on Jack other than the interception. He's dealing with, pressure in the pocket too. So, what we like about Buckner. I think there was some times there today that, some new looks for him that were first timers.
He's not ready. You just admitted at the end of the clip that Tyler Buckner's not ready.
He's not.
So why are you giving him third and long, 5-step, 7-step drop with long patterns that take at least 4 or 5 seconds to develop with the offensive line that you have?
And he's been hurt. He's been hurt. So he ain't been practicing.
No.
So you went from a package to now you want to throw him in the deep end and be like, I like your escapability. I ain't like it that much though, but I like it enough to let you sink out in the fucking deep end, because at the time we know Jack gonna get a sack, so we don't even want to embarrass Jack. So let's just waste your confidence out there and then turn around and be like, we're trying to figure it all out.
Let's just hand him 7 points. Brian Kelly just gifted him 7 points. He gifted the team 7 points.
Yeah.
Gifted it to them.
For what? For what? We play like a Grand Rapids football team. Like you just know that you're not going to recruit a top quarterback, so you just going to throw the punter in there because he's kind of fast on some plays, and then you're going to turn around and throw the receiver that can run and catch and throw. It's like you just want to makeshift your quarterback because you coaching like a D5 quarter, like a coach. Anything it take to win. We don't have to play like that. We don't have to play.
That's the way he wants this program to be.
We have to
be prim. We have to be prim, proper, be perfect, and we'll have a chance to win. When are we going to get swag? He talks about swag. There's no swag in that quarterback room. None.
You talking about quarterback with swag? At least we had the swag. We had even Tommy has some character. Tommy will get. Tommy run his little share and mix up in some rough edges stuff, but that's character. At least that's something. We have a bland room. And if swag is coming from Tyler Buckner, from head coach Kelly, and he's the true freshman that we not trying to develop, we halfway in, halfway out on him, it's a disaster.
Yeah, we have a comment. Robert P. Titoff, very disappointed but not shocked. Horrible O-line led to their eventual inevitable loss. The D can't win them every game like last week. At least we may have found a quarterback today. Did we? Did we find a quarterback?
You know how long we've been dependent on our defense to win games. I knew the moment we were a defensive dependent team when we played Alabama in 2012. I knew that was our strategy. If defense can't hold us, then we don't have nothing. Go ahead.
This is the problem. And Robert, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate your comment. This is where I differ with what he said. Until we find a quarterback, that's national championship ready, we haven't found a quarterback. We just haven't. And there's not that quarterback is not on this roster.
I think we don't want one. I don't think we want one. I don't think that's the way.
That Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, that quarterback's not on this roster.
Do you think any of them will put up with what Coach Kelly does to his quarterbacks? With all this rotating and package stuff? No. Look at Kyler and Kyler Murray and Kyle Allen at Texas A&M. They tried to do the whole
They bounced.
Kyle. Both of them left.
Both bounced.
And one went to win a Heisman. So it just shows you that even the most talented guys in those situations are unproductive, period. So we don't know how good Tyler can be. As long as he's doing this package and this, running a few plays, and then you throw him in the fucking deep end where he's sink or swim, and now he's throwing picks, and it's too much. It's too much.
All right. Time to go to the photocopy of Brian Kelly. That's Tommy Reeves. We sat here and we talked about the multiple ways Indiana gutted this Cincinnati defense with less talent. And what did we say? Misdirection, reverses, swing passes. Nice swing pass to Kyron early. What did he do with it?
Got busy.
Nice reverse, 8 yards. Other than that, what did we see? Same old, same old. And we could talk about the offensive line once again. As much as you want to complain about the offensive line, they played well enough to win the game.
Yeah. For how good they are, they played as good as they could for the situation.
Now, I will say this. Kane Madden is awful. If that's what you go and get, see that once again.
Yeah.
Once again, we could talk players all we want to, but we have to trace our steps and go to the top. Because you and Jeff Quinn sat in the film room
and said,
watched the film of Kane Madden and said, that's the dude we want.
Yeah.
And he's not serviceable. He's awful.
Liability.
We keep looking at these quarterbacks we get into this program. You sit with your offensive coordinator, your quarterback coach. You watch film of them in high school, and you say, those are the guys we want right there. We want him.
I want to know the conversation during the week of the game planning. What are they talking about in that coach's room? They sitting there saying, hey, all right, listen.
The clean sheet was dope. The clean sheet was pretty much that first drive.
I don't believe that, because there's no way in the world that Jack, even knowing his ceiling and knowing what he's going to give us, there's no way you sit in that room and be like, all right, we plan on using this game plan throughout the whole game. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't see 3 guys. Instead, I think they was in that coach's room during the week saying, okay, for some reason, it'll be smart if we use all 3. And no matter what happens, we give Jack two cracks at it, insert Tyler early, and if he hot, keep him in there. If he's not, go back to Jack. And then if all else fails, we know Drew can do what he did last week. That's some low-level coaching, because that's exactly what they did. No, I give the perfect example of maybe this is why they did that to my situation when we played LSU in the Music City Bowl.
Music City Bowl, yeah.
The whole week, we didn't know who was going to start. And I personally felt after the USC game, at least you knew who was going to give you the most out of it. We didn't know who was starting until the day of. So we going 50-50 all day. We get into the game, he's like, all right, I'm going to play both of you guys, but Malik, you just started. Which means that no matter what happens, I'm going to come out the game at some point to throw Ev in there. So when we went in the game, the first drive I scored. Scored or not scored, I wasn't going to be in the next drive.
Yeah.
It was predetermined, which is opposite of the natural flow that we talk about that happens in every game.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that this is all predetermined stuff. They predetermined before the Cincinnati game that they felt it was a good idea to play all three guys. I'm just convinced.
That's crazy. That's bonkers.
That's bonkers. Because
and then you want to come to the press conference talking about competency.
But he said it. He said, I'm trying to figure it out. How you get paid so many millions of dollars? You've been coaching for so long at such a prestigious program.
And you can't figure the quarterback out.
Again.
Again.
If anything, you getting paid to make strictly only the quarterback decision. Because it's a tough decision, clearly. It steers the direction of your football team, which fits under the guidelines of a head coach. However, you seem to every time botch the situation and make it worse by trying to play everybody.
I'm gonna be honest. I did something today. I called out West, talked to my seed. I said, I need you to talk to your boys on the squad. And I need you to go tell them to tell the AD to make the offer. And make the offer. I did. I flat out did. I said, go tell your boys to go into the AD,
make the offer,
and make the call. Yeah. Call them tonight. Call them tonight.
But it's sick because USC, with all the millions of quarterbacks they have, they don't even do that over there. And they can't keep a head coach. And they still don't be tossing quarterbacks in every other series, even if the guy's doing all right. Because then it goes back to what was the strategy of getting Jack to begin with?
Once again, because you watch film of this guy that couldn't keep the job at Wisconsin and said to yourself, this is the guy to take us to the next level.
That couldn't
get us to the college football playoffs.
I don't know.
That's the goal, right? He said that's the goal every year. Every year, the goal is to get to the college football playoffs, and the ultimate goal is to win a national championship. That's straight out of his mouth.
There's a lot of things that he says that I don't think. Maybe he's generalizing. However, I don't understand how, from what I see it as, it may have been, okay, we're going to get this guy that's okay. He'll push Tyler Buckner. And at some point, we'll smoothly transition Tyler to start in the season. Because he said in the beginning, it's a transitional season. Only transitional because of quarterback. Because they're the same players.
Except but see, here's the thing. Let's get back to coaching, right? Wherever Tyler is, you can't bring him in and make him run the same offense you're making Drew Pine and Jack Cohn run.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't.
But you throw him in terrible situations throughout the game that destroys his confidence. If you're going to sit there and say, we're going to two-back, read option, and throw a little RPO stuff because that's your package, and then he doesn't play for 2-3 weeks, and then you throw him in on 3rd and 17, and then you somehow say you open it up to have him do everything, of course he's not going to be ready for certain looks. He wasn't practicing all week for those looks because you didn't think he was going to get in for those looks. But you say, okay, the logic is he going to give us a chance in 3rd and long to make something happen. So we're not counting on him to necessarily execute the play, but we just know that Jack's not going to survive the 3rd and 17.
Yeah.
With the O-line. So it's like we don't want to punt on 3rd down, throw Tyler in there. We know he may not get it. Give him something that's a first read. If it's not there, we trust that he'll just run around enough and make something down the field. And if it's a big play, we'll keep him in. If it's not, we'll take him out and say, well, he's just not ready. He's developing. But the whole time you're killing the kid's confidence.
There's no way you should make as much money as Brian Kelly makes and be looked upon as one of the top head coaches in college football, and you have not one NFL quarterback on your resume. Starter. Let me qualify, because people will be like, well, Ian Book, he's on the New Orleans Saints.
In fairness, he had Deshaun, but Deshaun went 0-16, so That's tough.
You know what, man? I'm going to reserve my comments for Deshaun because honestly, I think Deshaun. If we're going to talk about Deshaun, honestly, I think that points back to the head coach as well.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons Deshaun left early is because of the head coach.
100%.
So it doesn't matter how you slice it.
It
The arrow still
common denominator.
Yes. He is the common denominator.
You don't win the most games ever and exclude yourself from the main issue that plagues the team. I think his biggest regret is not the national championship. It's probably he couldn't figure out what the easiest and probably the most qualified place you are as a head coach to make those decisions, and you keep watching. I think that's bigger than the national championship game. I think it's bigger than even winning the national championship, simply because it's like this is a direct personal reflection of you.
Yeah.
You are the reason why we can't figure out the quarterback situation. It's not no offensive coordinator. We had plenty.
No.
We had the Packers offensive coordinator, head coach.
Yes.
So we've had all the coaches you can have. The only person that's been there the whole time is you. So this is a direct correlation to you. When you say you trying to figure it out, that's you not knowing what you want to do with the quarterback situation. That's nobody else's responsibility. That's his biggest challenge, I would say, through his era is just being decisive on head coaching calls. I mean, this ain't nobody else's call.
All right, man. That's that. Look, we can do an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
On the BK era, the quarterback situation. We will say this: the offensive line once again showed us that they are who they are. And if you're a coach and a competent is the word of the day given to us by Brian Kelly. If you are a competent coaching staff, you find a way to win games with them being who they are.
Yeah. Let them be. Yeah. You got Jack. You know what Jack was about before you got him. It's ride or die season with him. But you done open the Pandora's box. You start reading the Irish message boards where they say, you know what? Maybe we can get a 1-2 punch with Tyler. And then we can uppercut with a Drew Pine.
No.
In the same game. It's impossible game plan, let alone for one guy. It's not messing up other teams to game plan for three quarterbacks. It's not. They're like, there's no way they can be that sophisticated with three guys playing. We just gonna do our thing. Teams play us man and they coming. That's it. And we got three guys shuffling in and out. The problem still exists. We can't get away from nobody.
Yeah.
No matter who's in there. And then we don't have the strength to push it down the field, to get them up off of us enough to where they at least change what they're doing. And then we just not mean enough on offense. We just not mean enough.
Drew Pine
was mean enough.
Drew Pine threw that touchdown pass from the sole of his toes. He used every neutron in his body.
Yeah.
To get that ball to Braden Lindsay, and he still underthrew it.
How do you recruit? We at Notre Dame. We recruiting guys who can't push the ball down the field at a top 10 team of all time in college football.
Ev could push the ball down the field.
Yeah.
You could push the ball down the field. Deshaun could push the ball down the field. I'll just leave it at that. And no need to say anything else. I'll leave it at that. It's self-explanatory.
Sounds like we got to end it on that, man. Because that's the best way to put it.
Self-explanatory. Let's go over to the defense.
Yeah.
Once again, the defense and Cincinnati's place kicker kept us in the game.
Oh yeah, the defense always keeps us in the game.
Kept us in the game. You know, you take the 7 points that Brian Kelly gifted them.
Oh yeah.
With his incompetent coaching, and then Chris Tyree, just unfortunate. He muffed the kickoff, took his eyes off of it, trying to make a big play.
Yeah, you're desperate.
Probably trying to create like he did last week.
Like that happens. You're desperate. Stuff like that happens.
Cincinnati gets the ball. We keep them out in the end zone. My biggest issue with the defense, I won't even go to the fourth quarter drive, right? Because the fourth quarter drive, of course, you want that. You want that stop.
Yeah, that's just right? Good on good. Good on good.
Before we get to this, man, we throw this in there because I know we'll forget because you always forget kickers. Because whatever. Jonathan Dorr, look, man, get it together. Just get it together. That's all that's all the time you're getting on our podcast today. Just get it together.
Are you
more? I'll ask you. Are you more upset with the drive before halftime or the drive that sealed the game? Which one bothered you the most?
Before halftime, because it just showed that early. It showed early, and it showed that are we going to make an adjustment? It had a lot of different points for me. Us not doing what we're supposed to do at that last drive gave an opportunity. Are we going to come out of the half into the next half with a different approach, a more locked in and focused identity? Or are we going to come out and leave where we started or started where we left off and have that struggle of not knowing what we want to do? And so it made it disappointing because by the end of the game, that last drive, I already know what was going to happen. Oh, I could predict what was going to happen that last drive due to the fact that we didn't start fast. Like the third quarter, Coach Kelly got them isms.
Yeah.
Starting fast third quarter is everything. I knew coming out of half how we responded was going to determine how we're going to end the drive on the last drive. And it wasn't what it should have been.
Yeah, we got a comment from one of our listeners. And see, this is funny. This is when somebody catches the end of the conversation and they come with a question like this. Rambo Eastwood, y'all saying they need a black quarterback? See, that's what happens when you come in on the tail end of a comment.
Yeah, you got to come
That's
in.
because the examples we use just happen to be of one ethnicity. You have to go back and listen to the entire podcast. There's a reason. Once the Shaun Kaiser left, because of Brian Kelly, there's a reason Brian Kelly went in the other direction.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks he recruited.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Just he basically threw the three of you under the bus and went the other way and said, these are the type of quarterbacks that I need to win. Quarterbacks that can't push the ball down the field and that can work my system. I don't want anybody that's going to make me expand my system and what I want to do, or that's going to challenge me to build around them. It's too much work for me.
It's too much work.
Too much work.
I can't live and die on quarterbacks every 3 or 4 years.
No.
I got to have a cog in the machine type of system.
Yes. I do believe in that time Trevor Lawrence was out there, right? He can put them.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's athletic, right? He can push the ball down the field, right?
I don't even think he took us serious. I don't think we took him serious like he probably would have gave us a chance of. I'm sure all these top quarterbacks want to come because ain't no way.
Since 2016, there have been a ton of quarterbacks that can push the ball down the field and that are athletic.
Like, what would Notre Dame look like with a Spencer Rattler? Let's just throw that out there.
I'm glad you mentioned him. That's another one.
Let's just throw that out there.
That's another one. He's from the same state as Ian Book. I mean, if you went out there to see Ian Book, could have gone out there to see Spencer Rattler.
You had to fly over Spencer to get to Ian. It just feel like that.
That's all I'm saying. But I'm sure all of the coaches that negative recruit say, look at the track record.
Oh, easy.
Tell me the quarterback he's developed. I know I would.
They're going to hit you with you want to be not knowing if you're going to play each and every season.
Bam.
You want to be in competition 3 years in with a freshman that got some talent but is unproven.
Because he has swag.
Because he's recruiting guys that are opposite of your whole talent. So now you got two different duo styling offenses and quarterbacks each year. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Another question. Honestly, I believe Quinn needs to be fired. Hey, no, I'm not pushing back, and maybe Dale Alexander as well, wide receivers coach. Am I wrong?
I'm not one to call for people jobs.
No, especially not now. But I will say this: Jeff Quinn ain't it.
I'm not even gonna say he's not it. I'm just gonna say after Harry Heastan, you gotta fill that spot like you did Marcus Freeman and Clark.
No. But see, Harry Heastan was somebody in the room that would say no.
Oh yeah.
See, that's the issue. Harry Heastan is a guy in the room to say, no, these are my guys.
Oh yeah,
this is how I'm going to teach them.
These are my
my guys.
Nobody touched anything Harry was trying to do with it. Coach Kelly may make a comment, but it was brief.
Yeah.
And it was something, and Heastan never took offense to nothing. It was more, oh, they messing up? Let me go get on them. Because I know they're not doing that while I'm coaching them. Like, yo.
Right.
And it was copacetic. People understood what they was getting. The linemen didn't have a problem with it because they see him cashing out first rounders. I mean,
they love him. You had a few that didn't like the way he screamed and, all of that.
And not everybody could fit that, but he recruited the right guys. And if it didn't pan out, it's okay. It wasn't many.
Right.
But the ones that didn't pan out, it's okay because even they still got a chance. I think of my guy, Big John. Big John didn't pan out the whole way through, went to Boston College, played for the Lions. I mean, it's because the technique was still there, so regardless of like or dislike, the talent was still there. So
what we're telling you today, once again, Cincinnati comes into South Bend and defeats the number 9 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish 24-13. We told you that the flow of the game would be such that it would be a fourth quarter game, and that if someone added something or took something away from the flow of that game, that was pretty much the way that Cincinnati would win. Because if it was a natural flow, Notre Dame more than likely was going to win because Notre Dame has the better athletes, better team. Another thing, Kevin Austin, I would like to say this. There's something mental going on. Anytime he's taken out of games, he's allowing teams to take him out of games and get him into a mental space. And I know I could say it's up to the offensive coordinator to get your top player in the game with a quick pass, short pass, quick screen, something. The same way they did with Michael Mayer. They got him going early.
Yeah.
They got him going early. And that's who got hurt as soon as Tyler Buckner came in the game.
Yeah, it's just.
I think he had 8 receptions on the day. Michael Mayer should have had like at least 12 receptions. Easy.
We should have been premiering the guy. We premiering the shuffle, the QB shuffle. It shouldn't be premiered. But I actually got to cut this one short because I gotta go. But
close it up, bro. Close it up.
This is what I'm gonna close it with. Brian Kelly. You got everything, but you're missing the biggest piece. And that's that competency. When we need it. Everything else, you got it down pat. I don't know how else to. We got to give you credit where credit's due. You do your job all the way up till the biggest decision.
Yeah.
That's your quarterback. You can't shuffle those guys like Uno cards.
Yeah.
You got to go with a guy and ride it out. It's okay if we don't hit the 10-win mark. But at least you're going to develop a guy for the future potentially or ride out with the experience you got around you. Other than that, defense is going to be the defense. The O-line is going to get better. That quarterback situation is why we said it was a transitional year. Because without a stable quarterback, it doesn't matter who we recruit. It doesn't matter. Until we get a Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence type of caliber player and stop playing, what do you want? We're going to play every game close, no matter if it's Toledo or Alabama. It's all going to be close calls.
I got to look at the schedule now, bro. There might be some more L's on the schedule. at this rate.
And ain't no easy road after this.
Stanford just beat Oregon today. That trip out to Palo Alto,
just got a lot harder.
Yeah, a lot harder. We are the Lucky Lefty Podcast, the original Lucky Lefty. Malik, Zaire. I'm Shaun Davis. You see it right there. Follow us at Lucky Lefty Pod, Instagram, Twitter, and go subscribe and hit the like button on all of our content on the Lucky Lefty Podcast YouTube channel. We'll see you Monday, right after Brian Kelly talks to the media. You'll have the slant. We spin it different. The two lefties.
Holla.
Holla.